KKK members that are paying back people, not black people, back people. Okay. So I went and I looked at her profile. She's 13 years old. She's going to graduate in 2025. Okay. I'm 31 years old. Who are you to tell this black guy how he should feel and how he should think? I'm a grown man. I've been living longer than you, and I've experienced way more than you. I've experienced the racism. I've experienced the segregation. But I'm going to tell you what I did with that negativity. Instead of me using that to hold me back and blame other people for what I'm not doing, this is what I did. I take my past and I take the past of what happened to my ancestors and I use it as fuel to move forward. I do not harp on the past. I cannot live in the past. As a Christian,
it's done. That's right.
It's done. And I'll say this, I'll say all of that to say this. I can't live in the past, okay? When Jesus Christ was on the cross, before he stated, Telestai, he said, Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do.
That's right.
Okay. Here we are with a man hanging with nails in his hands and feet, bleeding out with a sword up his side, bleeding out, forgiving the very people that put him on that cross. If lynching was legal today, I'm talking about rope and gallows were legal today, and they had to hang my black self for going against the movement, if you will, because I think that would happen. All right. Before they hang me, I would state those words that Jesus Christ stated. Forgive them, for they know not what they do.
That's powerful.
All day yesterday, I'm sitting at my desk, I'm typing reports, and I kept thinking about Sodom and Gomorrah. And that passage that stated they did what was right in their own eyes.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So this whole idea that, and then she claimed to be Christian. She said God first. Makes no sense. Because Christians are love. You know, Christ was love. He wanted to perpetuate love. That was one of his goals in his ministry throughout his 33 years on this earth.
Truth and love, right? It's bring the truth in a loving manner. That's shed the light on the darkness and do it out of a place of love.
Absolutely. Not out of a place of hatred. Okay. So the people that claim to be Christian use the idea, they use God as a term that people just say. Okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And those that are truly Christian and actually go to church and in fellowship with people that think like them and worship like them, and they follow Black Lives Matter, the movement that is, and they get caught up in the sin of this movement, they forget that they have a tool in their back pocket, and that is the love of Jesus Christ. And they also have the power of Christ to overcome those bad obstacles. Okay. And they look at God, the person of God, as an idea and not as the source they need to move on in life. They get stuck on the fact that they are so-called oppressed. If we were, listen, let's say all of this technology existed as slavery was going on, and you were a slave owner, Luke, and I'm a free slave, and we're talking about this, then I can say Black people are oppressed. Okay. If Dr. King was around and you and I were talking about this during Dr. King's days, I can then say Black people were oppressed. Okay. Can I say we're not oppressed today? Yes, I can. Can I say that there's forms of oppression? Yes, I can. Okay. My take on it is you can't sit here and say all Black people are oppressed, because I'm not oppressed. I get up every day. I take a shower in a house that I'm renting. I go to work. Okay, freely go to work. I make a living, and my living is putting bad people in jail that hurt kids. A Black guy that is able to hold the law at his fingertips and put sex offenders in jail for hurting kids. You're going to tell me that I'm oppressed. Where is the love in that statement?
Yeah.
All I see is hatred coming from that statement that all Black people are oppressed. We're not oppressed. You're able to have free speech. You're able to own your own business, own your own home, own your own car, get a good education, do all of these things. Is it a struggle? Yes, it's a struggle. I'll admit that. It is a struggle. But when you learn, and I've been saying this for a while, and I'm not sure I'm the one that coined this phrase, but to my Black people, to my community, when you learn to sit at the table with Judas, you will learn the love of Jesus Christ.
Right on. Wow.
Simple as that.
Yeah.
If you can sit at the table with your enemy and love on them in spite of what they did to you, or in spite of what they did to your ancestors, which I don't know why that's a problem.
That's a big one too. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
We're each individuals, right? We're not the people who came before us. So we need to be judged, just like we shouldn't be judged on the color of our skin. We also shouldn't be judged on what the people before us did.
Right.
You know, so I understand that the history of racism has brought about particular struggles for the Black community in America. That's facts.
Absolutely.
But to say that because, and I've heard this many times recently in the past few weeks, because white people had ancestors who owned Black slaves, those modern day white people are your enemies or have done something against you. No, that is not factual. That does not hold up. And as a matter of fact, many of the white people who immigrated here since slavery, the majority of them had nothing to do with slavery. It's about, I believe it's about 9 to 12% of the existing population had ancestors who had slaves. So it's not even accurate to say that most white people today had them. Most of them had absolutely nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
And so yeah, you're exactly right. And I think something else you hit on is this idea of the difference between systemic racism, which we saw in segregation, right? In legal racism, where they said, in class, we don't want white kids with Black kids. That's legal racism. That's systemic. So we need to separate that from racism that is in the heart of every human, and from bias and prejudice that is in the heart of humans. That is something different. And that is something I think that we are all going to always experience, because Christians recognize that we are fallen creatures. The heart of man is evil from the day we're born. We're saved only by Christ, and our natural trend is to be prideful. And part of pride is preferring people who look like us. Yeah. So systemic racism can be fought. And I would say in America, systemic racism has been fought and defeated. We don't see segregation being legalized anymore. We don't see preferential seating for you depending on what you look like anymore. But that personal racism, where there are still people out there who are racist, and I would also add from all races. I've seen many ethnicities who are racist. That's always going to be out there. But what we can do together is, when that pops up, when that ugly racist head rises, we can all disown it uniformly. And that's the beauty that we can do. Like you said earlier with George Floyd, everybody acknowledged, look, this is terrible. This should not have happened. But to say that that instance with these evil people is applicable to everybody, that's a huge leap.
Yeah, and I'll even say this, Luke. Systemic racism. Let's talk about the justice system shortly here. I work in the justice system on a law enforcement capacity side. I don't work as a lawyer. I don't work as a judge. But I'm the guy that brings about justice short term, because I'm not the judge and the jury or the executor. If you break the law, I am the one that has to make sure you uphold the law. Okay. So, and I'm going to be very frank in my statement, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to get a lot of hate, probably some threatening death messages, but I am willing to take this on for the name and the sake of Jesus Christ. Black people have a tendency of not wanting to obey authority. All right. And that's a broad statement, because not all Black people do this, and I know that. But let's talk about the Black criminals. They are always the ones to fight the cops, resist arrest, run, and try to kill the cops. I work in the field. No Black person can deny that, because I'm a cop and I see it every time I go to work. Wow. Okay. So no Black person can say that's not true. That's a false statement. You can't tell me that until you put a badge on and you see it for yourself. Okay. I receive more hate for putting on a badge than a racist white person would ever tell me in a million years. I receive more racist comments from Black people that support BLM than I do from any white person I've ever encountered a racial action from. Yeah. That's pitiful. Again, Where's the love? Because I think differently, because I am more conservative in my views, I'm hated. I'm an Uncle Tom. I'm whitewashed, which brings up our next topic with the meaning of the word whitewashed.
Nice.
I don't get it. I'm a black man, and I'm hated because I think differently. I'm a black man, and I'm called an Uncle Tom because I put on a badge. I traded my race, if you will. No, I didn't trade my race, okay? Everybody wants to know why I put on a badge, and I'll tell you exactly why I put on a badge. Because, again, I said it before, I grew up with a mom that was on drugs, okay? My grandmother raised 10 of my mom's kids, and I think 3 of my aunt's kids. So we had 13 kids in the house at one given time.
Wow.
And I watched my grandmother break her back to try to support us, to try to make sure we had everything we needed. I don't recall her, maybe one time, but I don't recall her teaching us to be nothing in life, to depend on the government, to do this. For her, it was more reverse psychology, by telling us the negative things to make us better kids and better people. However, I put on a badge and I became a cop because kids that grow up without a father and without a mother, I can relate to. And if they can see me in a career, then I can say, I did it. What's stopping you?
You can do it. Yeah.
My mama says that I'm not going to be this. Well, guess what? This is the first and the only time I will tell you to disrespect your mother and not listen to that comment. Okay? Yeah. Because you are an individual person and God has made you uniquely in his image. He did not make you in your mama's image. Mm-hmm. Okay? The Bible is very clear. You are made in the image of God. Okay? So these parents that are telling their kids they're not going to be nothing, they're going to be like just like their daddy in jail, cut that out.
Yeah.
Cut it out. Yeah. I'm sick of seeing that. Now, on to whitewash. That was part of the comment too. One of my comments that I was so whitewashed and I was a coon. I'm not a raccoon, so good try.
Sell out, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
You're too good for the community now. All that type of stuff.
Yeah, I care. I put the badge on because I care. I want to protect the life that God has given people, okay? Especially the black community. I put the badge on because I actually love and care about black lives.
And yeah, on that topic, and this topic of being whitewashed or a sellout, I think something we see in minority communities, specifically Hispanic and Black in America, is a very toxic tendency to punish success. And actually, ironically, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air has an episode where they speak directly about this.
Yep.
And Uncle Phil says, look, I worked very hard to, after his son is rejected by his fellow Black college students for being successful. He says, Uncle Phil says, I worked hard to give my family a good life, and now I'm being punished by my own community for success. He says, when are we going to stop doing this? And I think Fresh Prince hit it on the head there. It is one of the most toxic things for successful Hispanic and Black kids to be called white because you're doing well in school. Oh, so you're acting white now because you want to be a lawyer. Oh, so you're acting white now. Or that type of stuff, that's nonsense. And it's in and of itself, it's racist because you're saying that if you pursue success, if you work hard, if you're academic, you're white. That doesn't belong to the white man. Academics don't belong to the white man. They belong to everybody who wants to pursue them.
Yeah, and it's funny you say that I get called that a lot. I hate this.
Yeah,
I get called the whitest Black person someone knows. I hate that term. Nothing against white people, but I'm not white, and I love being Black. I am who I am because that's the way. There's a purpose. There's a reason why I am Black. Just because I talk proper, I write proper, I dress proper, or I dress like I should dress, do not put me in the category of white people.
Nope.
I am not white, if you will. I'm Black. Okay?
Yeah.
And I've been called the Uncle Tom, the Coon, the HN, which I'm not going to get into that. And by the way, if you know what HN means, I'm too dark to be an HN. I would have been the one working in the fields.
That's right.
But anyway, so this idea of whitewashed and The American people, not just black people, but the American people